Oh yeah, this is the shit. Okay. So, this is for anybody who watches road cycling. Trek did a special edition paint scheme for their team for the Paris-Roubaix race, and that's what this is. So it's special edition paint. I would say it's probably the first one in the country. I haven't seen them online yet, so I don't think too many people have them. Say hello, Larissa. Hola. Gracias. Okay. So this is the Domane SLR 7 in the Roubaix. So it's what they call the Arenberg edition. So Arenberg Forest is one of the most famous sections of the Paris-Roubaix race. It's where a lot of the decisive moves happen. Bikes get broken, all that sort of shit. And Trek did an Arenberg edition paint scheme in their Project 1 bikes. It was a rim brake one, so it must be 10 years ago, I'd say. And this is an updated version of it on the new Domane SLR. So we'll go through it. Have a look at the colour first, and then we'll go through the spec. So it's an SLR 7. So the SLR is the top of the range frame. So it's the same carbon that they use to make the Pros bikes. The difference in this model is the Pros race what's called an RSL frame. This is an SLR, so same letters back to front. It's a bit like the way they do their names. Did you know that? Madone, Domane and Amanda are all anagrams of each other. Go check. I'll wait. Anyway, so yeah, so RSL, SLR, it's a little bit confusing, but anyway, the SLR is the endurance version. The RSL is the racing version of the Domane. So the RSL has a slightly lower head tube. It doesn't have the internal storage. There's a couple of other changes in it, but this is the SLR, which is the normal person's bike. It's not the racing version of it. Should have got Larissa to get me an Allen key as well. Anyway, so you can see the details on this one. They've sort of done a lot of nice little details. You can see the bottle cage bolts. They've got two different colours, anodised red, anodised blue. They've got a really interesting paint scheme. I must talk to one of the Project 1 guys and find out where the colours and the design came from and what it all means. And we'll do that in another video. See the Trek Segafredo logos on it there, the team logos. So it's got the new Bontrager Pro stem, so nice neat internal cabling, but with the ability to change stem length quite easily. It's not fully internal the way the aero bikes are, so it's a little bit easier to change sizes on or adjust things. The handlebar is a Bontrager Isocore, so it's the Isocore Pro, and what Isocore is, they've got a filament. I'm going to make some shit up, maybe a little bit, but it's mostly true. So Isocore is a filament that they weave into the carbon fibre like a rubber filament to soak up, damp down vibrations. It's a long time since I've read the tech spec on it, so I might be a little bit wrong, but that's mostly right. The SLR 7 has Ultegra Di2, which is now 12 speed. Hey, how's it going? We have Bontrager Aeolus Pro 37 wheels, Bontrager tyres, the Bontrager frame has changed now. So last year's, or the previous generation, the third generation of the Domane, which you can still buy, they do both still. So the Gen 3 had two ISO speeds. It had an ISO speed decoupler at the front and it had an ISO speed decoupler at the back. So what that is basically a bearing system which allows the seat tube to flex, and there was one on the front which allowed the head tube to flex. They've done away with the head tube one and they've retained the seat tube one. So the second change on the frames is they've gone to a regular seat post instead of the older system with the seat mast. So the seat post has a flat back on it, which allows it to flex. So the combination of a flat back seat post, which will flex, a D-shaped seat post, which will flex, and the ISO speed, and the bigger tyres that you'll typically run on a Domane, so these have 32 as a standard, will give you plenty of comfort. The Domane is, I'd always stayed away from the Domane. I didn't really want to give in to that, you know, I'm getting old shit. So I stuck with the Madone and the Amanda as my favourite bikes, and as a result we sold much more Madones and Amandas because I was riding them and telling people how great they were. And I got on a Domane a while ago. Oh man, the comfort is unreal. It's I'm gonna say it's not just an age thing. It's not just that I'm getting older. It is really comfortable. The difference going to a bigger tyre is huge. And the other thing that I've found, and it's very counterintuitive, is that the bigger tyres aren't necessarily slower. There is a small speed difference obviously between a Domane and a Madone, but it is small now. It's not like there's a huge speed difference. They are very quick, but they are really comfortable to ride. So anyway, I've talked enough shite. It's a Domane SLR 7. You've got internal frame storage for your mini tool. You'll have a little tool bag in there for your spare tubes and your CO2 and your tyre levers. Montrage Rayola wheels. Shimano Ultegra Di2. Lots of frame mounts for food bag, bottle cages. Okay, we'll get it into the workshop, we'll get bar tape on it, we'll get a saddle on, we'll get some photographs of it finished, and that's it for today.